Today in this video we are going to create a step-by-step project in Python which we call the password generator project. Hi everyone, welcome back to the next video in the Python series where we are trying to understand the basics of Python in a step-by-step manner. My name is Mukesh Kala. I am a 4 times UiPath MVP and a LinkedIn top voice. I have shared my LinkedIn details on the page. Feel free to send me a connection request and I would be happy to be part of your network. In the Python playlist, we have already covered all these videos which you are looking on the screen. So in case you are absolute beginner and you have no idea about Python, you can watch the complete playlist where we are guiding you right from installing Python to something which is called built-in modules. Okay. So today in this video, we are going to create a small mini project which is called the password generator. In case you are coming to the channel for the first time and you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the next videos in the same playlist. Having said that, let's get started. Okay, so let's have a quick introduction about the project which we are going to generate today or create today, right? So we call this project as the password generator. So why do we need passwords? As we know that a strong password is essential for online security. You can use this to any login application which you are generating with Python. You can use it to generate or change the passwords by the users, right? Manual creation of the password can be time consuming and it can have errors such as it might not be random. However, with this program, we are going to write a program in Python which is called the password generator that will automate the process and it will generate random password with a different strength, right? At the end of this project, you would learn how do you use the Python built-in modules. In the previous sessions, we have only seen a little bit of built-in modules, but now today we would be using it more practically. We would see something which is called string manipulation. We would understand loops and we will also see how I can write and test a function in Python. Okay. So this is the quick introduction about the today's project which we are going to build in Python. I would be coding this complete thing in a step-by-step manner in my VS Code. So I would request you guys to please open your Python editor and also follow along with me. Okay. So let's define the mode of the coding, right? I am going to code the module in 4 steps, step 1, 2, 3 and 4. As we progress along this, we would be doing the same steps in the Python code as well, right? So the first step for today or for any program would be to import the necessary modules, right? Now from the previous videos, if you would remember, we use modules so that we can get the necessary stuff which are required for the program. So in this one, we are going to use 2 modules. One is the string module, which is going to provide us easy access to the characters like letters, digit and punctuation marks, which will be used for password. And the second module which we are going to use is random because I want to generate the random numbers or the random characters, right? So first thing first, step 1 for the project is import the necessary modules. Okay, we'll come along back to the presentation by first doing the step 1 into the project and then coming back to the theory. Okay, so I am back to my Python project. This is the same project, guys, which we have been working on for a long. So I'll just go here and I'll create a new file. I'll call it as password_generator.py, right? And that should create the password generator file for me. Okay. The first thing first, we are going to import the modules. Okay, so which modules we want to import? I want to use something which is called import string. As precisely mentioned, that we need to generate the password with the help of ABCD characters and the punctuation marks. All of that is available in the string, so we are importing the string module, right? Next, I want to do something randomness. I want randomness in the program because the password should be random. So I'm going to use something which is called import random, right? So this way I'll just do a Ctrl+S. That completes the import, which is the step 1 of the program. Okay, the next step in the program is to define the character set. Now what exactly is a character set, right? So password is typically a mix of letters, numbers and the special characters. So we need to tell the Python program that what character set I want in my password. And if you remember, the string module which we just imported provides us all these things like ASCII digits, punctuation, numbers, everything is available into the string module, right? So now let's go back to the program and define the character set, right? That what I want in my password. Okay, so now the next step is I'll just put a hash and I'll say define the character set, right? This hash indicate that this is a comment. Okay, I hope you guys remember this from the previous sessions. And now I want to just define a character set, right? To define a character set, I'll just type here characters. That would create the variable, put a equal to, and then I'm going to specify what exactly I want in my character set, right? It's not step, it's the character set. And all the characters which I want is in which module? In the string module. So I just write here string dot, and then you will see all the things which are available like ASCII letters, lowercase, uppercase, digits, hexadecimal, oct digits, printable, punctuation, everything is available for you, right? So let's say for my use case I only want to use the letters, ASCII letters, capital and small, followed by, because this is string, so that's why I'm using a plus. Then I want to use something called string dot digits. Okay, so string dot ASCII letters plus string dot digits, and then I want the password to be followed by a punctuation mark, right? So now to follow it, I'm again going to use string and then I'm going to use a dot and say punctuation, right? So this would define the character set, which means that whatever password I want will be a ASCII letter, it would have a digit, and then it would have a punctuation mark, right? So that completes the step number 2, which is defining the character set. Okay, so we completed the step 1, which was necessary module. We defined the character set. Now the next step is step number 3, create the password generator function, which means that now we have to create a function that would actually generate the password. So what actually would be the logic, right? So the first thing first is, if you remember from the previous videos, that why do we need a function? So that it is reusable. We want to take the password length as the input and we want to randomly generate the password. The usage of the function is that since I have created a function, it would be easy for me to reuse the function again and again with different set of inputs, right? For every use case, I do not want to write a different code. That's why I'm going to use something which is called a function, right? So now we have to use this one, which is the create the password generator function, that we are going to code back into Python. Okay, so let's go back to the Python window. So now let's go here and I'll just add a comment so it's easy for us to understand. Create the password generator function. So now this would be the function where we are actually going to generate the password, right? So now, as from the previous lesson, we know that to create the functions we use something which is called def, and then I am simply going to name the function as generate underscore password. Okay, and in the bracket we are also going to specify something which is called length is equal to 12, which simply means that at the starting of the program I am going to ask the user that give me the length of the password, right? Because somebody wants a password of 6 characters, somebody wants an 8 character, but let's say somebody just run this program without giving anything, I would just hard code the value to 12. If they provide the input, well and good. If they don't provide, then it would be treated as a 12, right? So that's why I'm just giving an argument where the length is defined as 12. Okay, so I hope you remember again this. Then we have to put a colon, and then inside that function we need to generate something which is called password, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable which is called password that will actually hold the password, right? And initially the password would be blank, which also means that in case somebody triggers the password and they get nothing, they will at least get a space value, right? So this is kind of a default value, right? You can write this everything in a single line as well, but for simplicity I am writing this program in a step-by-step manner, right? So we created a variable. As of now the default length, not the default, the byte, yeah, the default value is 12. We have given the password initially blank, and now what I am going to do is I am going to write a loop for I in range, okay, in range, which range? The length, right? Whatever length you have provided in this, we have to loop that range, and from that we have to generate the password. The password would be nothing but whatever you have initially, which is the blank. In the blank you just add, what do you I want to add? I want to add the random characters from these. So I'll just go here and I'll say random, right? Then I put a dot. This random is nothing but the same random which we imported at the top. Dot choice from where? From the characters. Okay, so that's it, right? And then what do I want to return? I simply want to return the password, and that way this guy will return me the random password. Okay, let's try to understand it again. I created a function whose name is generate underscore password. We defined a length which is nothing but the input. In case nobody provides the input, this will be treated as 12, right? And the password is initially set to blank, which is nothing, just a double quotes. Now for whatever length you have got, if it is 10, then you will going to get 10 characters. If it is 12, we are going to get 12 characters. If it is 6, you are going to get 6 characters, right? Then for all of them, what I am doing is I am running this in the loop, and I am telling this password function to get me a random character. Now it is asking me from where do I get the random character. So I say random dot choice, and from this character set, which we have already put that in the character set. We want the ASCII letters, we want the digits and the punctuation, right? So this function is going to hit this character set one by one, number of times you have mentioned here, and then keep on appending it with the help of this plus symbol, and then will return you the password. And that's it, right? We have created the password generator function. Okay, so that completes the step number 3, which is creating of the password generator function, which was the main brain of this thing, right? Now the next one is add the input handling. Okay, so the user should be able to specify the desired password length, right? We want the user to give the password length, and does not that we are generating the password of our length, right? We will ask the user that provide me what length password you want, and accordingly we'll validate and generate the password, right? Let's do something extra, right? So in the slide I have mentioned that the password length should be at least 6 characters, right? So let's say I'm writing an program and there is a security recommendation which says that you should have at least 6-digit password, right? So at any point of time, if the user provide any number which is less than 6, we are going to generate an exception saying that the length should be greater than 6. Okay, so now the next step is we have to handle the inputs, meaning that we have to now ask the users for the input, right? Let's do that in the program now. Okay, so now I'll again add a comment and I'll say add input handling. Okay, and here I am going to handle the input, right? In the handling input, I am going to define a new function again with the help of the same keyword, which is the def, and I am going to call this function as password underscore generator, right? The Same purpose, because if I want to use the same function again and again, I can just reuse and call the function, right? So I have defined a new function which is called the password generator, which we are going to call, right? And here you would today also see that how we can call this function within this function, right? So generate password was a different function which is actually generating the password, and this is handling the input. Okay, so I have created a new function which I called that's the password generator, right? And the first thing first is I want to just welcome the people, right? So I can just say any welcome message, welcome to the password generator program by, let's say, TBMK, tutorials by Mukeshkala. You can write any message here, right? Just to greet the user and let them understand what this program is going to do. Okay, so now after that we want to get the length from the user, right? Remember, if we decided to be of 6 character, if somebody provides us anything less than 6, we don't want to consider it, right? So to store the length, I am going to use a variable which is called length. Okay, and in the length we are going to ask the user to provide the length, right? And then to get the input, we are going to use something which is called input, and here I just ask the question, right? Something like how many or maybe just simply like provide me the password length, right? And this would be the number which the user will provide, right? That I want the password of 6 characters, 7 character, 20 characters. Length is always going to be integer, so I'll just put it like this and convert this thing into integer, and that's it, right? So now whatever number the user will provide here, 6, 20, 25, 30, 14, that would become my length. Okay, and now if we just use an if statement, right, we need to check, because we want to have that security constraint, right, which I was discussing. If the length is less than 6, then what do you do? I say print password length should be at least 6 characters, right? You can write any functions here, right, depending on your requirement. But if else it is not less than 6, right? Somebody provided 7 or 8, that means in the else part, remember if else we covered in the previous session, right? Then we generate the password. Where would be the password? It would be now from this function which is the generate password. So I'm going to use the generate password here, and generate password is going to ask me provide me the length. And where is the length? The length is nothing but which the user has provided and we stored in this variable. That's why this length will come here. Example of function reusing, right? So like this we are going to provide you the password into this variable, and then all you have to do is just provide the password back. So I just say print, and then I just say your password is whatever password you have generated, right? Just use the password variable which is nothing but this variable here, and this will generate the print the password into the console. Why do I have use F? To make it as a formatted output, right? We have discussed this also in the previous sessions as well. Okay, and that way you should be able to create the password, right? Okay, so now I think, okay, so I have put this double quote in the wrong place. This would be coming here. Okay, so now we have defined the input, right, and this will give me the password. Okay, this completes the complete program, right? And the last step for this program would be to run the automation or run the program, right? So now to run the program we are going to call this function and not this one. Okay, so I hope you understood this code clearly, that we are providing a length of 6. If the length is less than 6, we are saying that it should be, this is an error message. Otherwise we just call this function which is the length and then creates the random password. Okay, so now the last step for us would be to run the program. So I just keep a hash and I just say run the program. Okay, and now to run the program I simply use to call the function which is called password generator, right? And password generator do not have any input parameters, so that's why we keep it blank. And that's it. That completes our program for Python. Okay, before I run it, in case you guys are able to follow along with me, just comment down that the code completed, so that I understand that yes, we are on the same page. And let's try to execute now. Okay, so I'll go here and I'll say run the Python file. Okay, and I'll just bring it a little at the top, right? Okay, so if you can see here, it says welcome to the password generator program by TBMK. This is the same message, guys, which we have put it here, right? And then it is asking me provide me the password length, right? So what if I provide the password length as 4? Okay, and then I say enter. It says that password length should be at least 6 characters, right? Because that's what we have defined. Okay, so now let's try to run it again, and this time welcome to the password generator, provide me the password length. And now this time the password length I am providing is, let's say something like 10, and I got a 10 digit password: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. And you would see that this is a combination of the skyletters, digits and the punctuation. Okay, let's try to rerun it, and this time provide me the length. So now this time let's say I'm providing the length as 12, and I am generating a random password of length 12, right? So this completes our program to create the random password, right? The program is absolutely simple, but I wanted to do it in a step-by-step manner so that you guys understand how do we do it, right? Now I have a quick assignment for you guys. The assignment is very simple, right? If you see here, when we run the program, it's expecting us to provide a password length. And now what happens if I just pass here mukesh, which is not a length? Now in that case, my automation is breaking and saying me invalid literal, that I am expecting something integer and you have passed me Mukesh, which is not a valid input, right? So which means that we have not done the exception handling in this one, which means that we want to put something which is called the try and the expect, right? And I want you guys to put the exception handling on this program, where it actually handles the incorrect output. If anybody puts any random number which is not any random input which is not an integer, it should handle it, right? Just to give you the hint, you should use the try and the accept. The try would come here, right? And then you would have to specify try, and then in the accept keyword you need to mention that what is the error, right? So you can watch the previous videos, you can take help from the internet and just do the exception handling here, so that when anybody provides a wrong input, the program actually tells that the input is wrong and not break the program, right? So that would be your assignment, right? Okay, so that is pretty much I wanted to cover in this session. Now I want to quickly recap and give you a couple of assignments on this same program to better your learning, right? So first of all, we have seen how I can utilize the random and the string modules. We have seen how I can use function, call function within function, and handle the user inputs, right? So now there are 3 assignments which I want you guys to do on top of this program. The first one is you have to modify the project to add the exception handling, as I have already mentioned, using the try and the accept keyword. The second assignment is, as of now I am using some different lowercase special character, right? You have to add the password strength by providing it at least one uppercase, one digit and one special characters, right? So you have to change the password criteria. I hope you guys would be able to do it. And an extension of the same assignment is that once the password is generated, you have to save the password into the user desktop so that they can use it later on as well, right? So you can just create a notepad file in the runtime and put the password into the same notepad file and just show a message that password generated and saved in this notepad file, right? So that way you would understand how do you do the exception handling, you would be able to tweak the criteria, and you will also be able to use the file handling in the same program, right? All of this we have already covered in the previous session, so feel free to just go back to the previous playlist, read about the exception handling and the file handling as well, right? Once you are done with this program, just comment down that you have successfully done it. If you want to share any of your learning, feel free to comment that as well. And with that, I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video of the Python series.